We're gonna call the, finance personnel budget meeting, to order. Today is Tuesday, October 22nd. It is 6:01 PM. Present in the room here is, Andrea and
Chris Dubeck.
Donnie Kern, Bob and Chris from the library. Via Zoom is Mike,
Yes, hello. Oh, I guess I'm,
Ryan Cap,
Hello.
and Ryan Seacard also.
And then Joel and Colleen are also on there.
Oh, Joel's in there too, yes, I
Yeah.
apologize, and Colleen. So next item on the agenda is discussion, possible recommendation. Shouldn't we have a public comment on this?
You can.
So we open up for public comment first. Offering public comment 2 minutes for anybody that wishes to give any comments on the budget. Anybody online? Hearing none, okay. Then we'll go into the next item. There's the discussion and possible recommendation 2025 proposed general fund debit fund capital improvements budgets and 2025 wages. You want to do it in that order, or do you want to do the health insurance renewals first? Dental insurance renewals first? Kind of flows different, better that way, doesn't it?
Well. It's all, it's really all in one. So.
Okay.
I mean, it could just be all discussed together. But if you wanna do the health and dental first, we could do that.
Certainly can. You want to put that on line?
Yep.
Okay.
I do have, paper copies in the packet that was on the table. Oh, I should probably share the screen. And change the. Setup on Zoom. Okay, so this is. This is a memo from J.A. Counter, just kind of summarizing, all of the. Health dental plans, for the village with, the current carriers, which are. Health Partners and Delta Dental. As I mentioned at the last finance meeting, the lower deductible plan went up a little over 8%. 8.87, and the 5,000 or higher deductible plan went increased 9.86. The Medica numbers came in, and Jay Connor provided an analysis. So this, let me see that. Okay. This is a comparison for Health Partners. Lower deductible plan. Our current plan is the second column. And this is assuming that all members are in this lower deductible plan. They can't like break out. We have so many in the higher and so many in the lower. So this is assuming everybody chooses this plan. The Health Partners renewal is the next column. And you can see it's an overall increase of 11%, assuming all members are going to that plan. Medica came in, same benefits, same plan, same coverages, and it's 2% over our current plan. Now, same thing with the higher deductible plan. The second column is our current, assuming everybody's on the plan. Then the the next column is the increase with health partners.
Forgive me, when you say assuming, um,
Assuming
Either they're
all
gonna be a-
members choose to go with the 5,000.
so we're saying everybody's either in the 5,000 or everybody's in the lower deductible. I'm confused by it.
The only way they could do this comparison is by assuming everybody's in one plan or everybody's in the other. plan.
Okay, so this is making an assumption that all of our village employees are enrolled into that.
One
plan,
or the other,
in
yeah,
that plan, okay.
yeah.
So that's why they're saying it's 2%. What if they're not? Because right now you're, with health partners, are we making that assumption with everybody in is gonna be 11%?
No, the way our plan is, set up right now with however many people are in the lower and however many people are in the higher, it's this 8.87.
Okay,
So,
so.
and
if-
9.86.
what happens if people get out of the medical plan? Does that mean our costs go down? Or is there a requirement that it's all or none?
It's a requirement, it's all village staff or all village eligible employees would switch to Medica if that is what the board chooses to do.
So we'd force people to pay for the insurance if they weren't taking it.
Well, they would be paying basically the same amount,
Not if
they
they
are
didn't
now.
take the insurance.
right?
So that's what I'm saying, but the individual that's opted out, because there's several individuals that opted out, right?
No,
How many are opted out?
one,
Just one out of the set, how many is total? 17,
18.
18? And we got 17 lives that were,
Mhm.
okay.
Yeah.
So that one individual, we force him to participate.
No, he has the choice to be in or out.
I thought-
Everybody has the choice to be in or out.
I thought you said on medical, you had everybody.
I misunderstood what you said. I thought you were saying either you could choose health partners or you could choose Medica.
No,
I-
no,
That's what I thought you were saying.
they still have the option of one or the other. I mean, they still have the option of adverse selection, whether
Yes,
it's medical or health partners.
no, we would only offer either health partners or switch to Medica.
Correct. But they'll have that company, but they'll decide whether or not they want to participate.
Yes,
Okay,
yes, sorry, okay.
And then should they also choose their deductible level?
Yes.
Is that possible?
Yep, and they can with health partners too. This is basically just for this comparison that everybody's in the one. And with the 5,000, it's 0.15% increase to Medica. So basically a flat change.
but they could decide whether or not they wanted to be in this one
Mhm,
for medical
mhm.
or in the higher deductible, or it's gotta be,
Yes.
everybody's gotta be in a higher
We would-
deductible or.
We would still offer the two
So,
plans.
okay, so we're basically comparing apples to apples.
Yes,
Okay, that's what
Yep.
but the 2% number though, I thought I heard you say that it was, everybody was in.
this comparison is saying everybody's in this one plan, like
And so if,
our premium,
if
monthly
one
premium is
individual-
not $27,820.60 right now. But this is just to say. Here is the difference. Between the two
Mhm.
plans.
it's a substantial lesson, what I was saying is if the individual that is still not participating, chooses not to participate,
Mhm.
it's gonna be less than that number. Because they're
I
factoring that.
I
premium.
don't know that they're factoring that person in these renewals.
Oh, I thought it was on all 18.
I will have to check on that.
Well, there's significant cost savings in medical there.
So the reason why I added it as a recommendation is, not so much dental, there is, well, let's just stick with health insurance right now. If the board wants to entertain, or the committee wants to entertain the village switching to the medical plan, there's stuff that we have to do prior to the next meeting. As far as the group. So I need some sort of direction as far as if you want to move forward with going into medical.
Like enrollment information and stuff like that.
Yeah, there's applications that all the employees have to fill out and stuff. And we have until November 8th for that.
You know, are the coverages similar?
The coverage is exactly the same.
Typically, that's a choice I'd like to let the employees make. You know,
Right.
they're different.
Well, ultimately though, it's dollars and cents for the taxpayers, so if you're getting the same benefit and it's costing you 6% less, I think it's a prudent and fiscal decision to make, to elect Medica as our next carrier, just because of that cost savings. And the only question I have is, will it affect adversely those individuals in their PP, in their network? Cause I think Medica and Health Partners, when the Galaxy report talked,
Alicia.
they were pretty close to
Yeah.
similar, right?
Yep, and that's what she told me too, and I believe she has that in the summary. Page 2, it's on page 1, that it's the closest match to Health Partners compared to other carriers. So, as far as the network.
I'll make a motion to recommend transferring over to Medica with the 3300-0 HSA Gold and 5000-0 HSA Silver.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to recommend Medica 3300 HSA Gold and 5000-0 HSA Silver. Any discussion?
None for me?
Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
Chris, you vote? Yep, okay. All opposed? Motion carried. Okay,
Okay, so then as far as dental, Delta Dental, their renewal came in at 8%. Which is roughly $1,700 a year. And there is the,
that one only covers 7 employees.
no, there's 7 on just the employee plan, there's 3 on employee spouse, there's 1 on employee
Okay.
child, and 8 on family.
That's 19 total then, okay.
So, the company that has our life insurance plan, they also offer dental, which is on page 2 of the summary. Right at the very top. Their rate, I think it's,
Is that principal you're referencing to?
yes.
Okay,
I'm sorry, it's at the bottom. They are offering dental insurance at a lesser rate, but their network does not match our current network. So Jay Counter suggested we don't switch to them for that. But they are suggesting we switch the voluntary benefits that are offered or through Aflac. Principal's rates are a lot less than Aflac's, because it's a group plan versus individual plans.
That's something that you guys could do as a group, because it is voluntary,
Yeah,
so really, there's no recommendation
No.
needed for us on that.
no, I'm just mentioning.
Okay.
Yeah, cause it's in the summary, so. So again, if you wanna make a recommendation on the dental, you can, if you wanna wait, you can do that too.
What, you're saying the increase would be a total premium increase of 1776? But what if individuals would switch up, like, say the employee and spouse decided they would add, had a kid or added their children or something, that would kick that up then, right?
Yes,
Okay.
it's a minimal difference, between the family and the employee spouse, or the rates are very. Low.
Any suggestion of this committee? Recommendation? I think keeping it the way it is a small amount. $1,700 a year.
Yeah, if that's the wishes of the village employees, that's what I would like to go with.
Has there been any discussion with the department heads in that regard?
No, I just got this,
Can you want to
She
take
sent
this
it
to
last
department heads and get a recommendation from them to bring
Sure.
back to us?
yeah, we can
I'm
do that.
perfectly fine with it. I'd like to get some more input from the department heads on that.
Mhm. Yep.
Give them a chance to talk to the employees and let them know that we still are, care about their opinions on the matter.
Yep, okay. You think that's fair?
You okay with that, Mike? Chris?
Yes, sir.
Right, so the dental, we're referring to department heads. Right?
Yep.
For recommendation. Actually, got a couple here.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
They nodded, that's the thing.
You guys got something to say, you can say it.
I'm wondering if on the, like insurance, I mean, I'm all about saving money for the library too. Will they ever, if you say, well, we'll switch to you, will they ever say, you will agree to no more than a 10% increase over the next 5 years or anything like that? Like,
Oh,
I don't know if there's any
Yeah.
leverage with that.
Yeah. I say
something
good
to
luck
ask.
with that. The only thing we got is a opportunity to shop it in the open market,
Right.
And I've never been able to lock in,
Okay,
even with my company, I'd love to, if we go all whole hog with you,
Yeah.
it's a great
they're
idea.
just too big for us.
Huh?
They're just too big for us.
Yeah, we're little fish, I guess,
Yeah.
in a big pond, right?
That is a good thought, though.
Well,
It's
that,
always worth asking,
That's a-
obviously,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
how our library system works with 54 libraries. You have
Yeah.
a little bit of more buying
Power.
power,
Well,
yeah.
when I talk to Jay Connor tomorrow regarding, the decision to move forward with Medica. Or start the process, then I'll say. By the way, can we get them to lock in at no more than this for the next however many years?
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt to ask.
That's right, doesn't hurt to ask. All right, well, next item then is the budget.
Yeah. So, that. Change in insurance will change, the, budget numbers, so I won't have that in here. But,
We'd be looking at a savings of what, about roughly,
uh,
4,000? Not even,
it would be you'd be paying the same as you are right now, so there will be a decrease in the overall budget.
right?
Yeah.
that money would go then where?
Well, I'll just take it off the levy.
Okay.
And then- Unless you want to. Now I will. This. So the budget that you are looking at tonight, includes a 3.88% increase in the levy. Which, with our net new construction levy limit worksheet, we can go to 4.9 increase. So it's not as much as we can go.
State aid went up 15%.
For streets.
Yeah. And 800% for personal property.
Yes, because, we will no longer be collecting personal property tax. So the state is issuing, additional aid, personal property aid to help municipalities recoup that loss in tax dollars on their personal property.
Is that just for this year? Or
It's not real clear if it's going to continue or if it is just a one.
Yeah, they got rid of collecting personal property taxes for good as far as I know, but as far as how much they'll give the village each year, that's unclear. Do you know how they got to that number, Andrea?
I believe there's a calculation on the notice we got.
It's not that big of a deal. Just email it over. I'm just kind of curious more than anything.
Why the reduction in the transfer from the water utility?
That is a calculation that is provided by the auditor.
Okay. Is it a percentage? Is it, based on how many meters or how does that?
I have no idea.
Cause it
Find out.
went down 9.19%. Is it because of usage?
I will find out.
Will we be getting any interest income this year? Last year, we had 40,000 in interest income, but this year we budgeted 10,000, but nothing has been booked yet.
It will be in there.
It trues up at the end of the
Yeah.
year, but
Yeah.
you know what we're gonna be looking at?
It'll be similar to this year or last year, 2023's number.
And then Andrea, explain the police officer wage reimbursement. That went up 258%.
That is because the police officer is now at the school full-time during the school year, so they're.
All right,
paying-
I knew it was something like that. Thank you.
So that money's come back then.
Mhm. The personal property aid was calculated based on what we collected in 2023 times 0.999457968. Where did I get that number? I'm not sure.
Thank you. court employee benefits up 84%. Just a quick explanation of that.
There was, an addition to the coverage.
Say that again.
Colleen got married.
Oh.
Oh, thank you. That explains it.
I noticed athletic field use. Actual was $650.
Mhm.
There was a contribution of $500, by, ICE, it was ISG. And is that in there?
By who?
Sean Parnell. For use of the ball fields. He was to get with you in order to make that donation.
I don't know anything about that, Donnie.
He said, he had asked me about it, I said, you wanna give it to Andrea, because I don't know the specifics on how that money goes in and out.
Mm.
Did he talk to you about that?
So I just put in what we collected this year from the sports club as the budget number for next year.
It went from 1,600 up to 2,200. And then dropped substantially in 2023 and in 2024.
Mhm.
That's why I'm recommending changing that fee schedule,
Yeah,
because we gotta chase them around to get the money collected.
Mhm.
right?
I don't, hey,
Will that happen for 2025? Do you think?
that'll happen next year.
So should I put more money on
Have we invoiced them at all for this year? Usually?
It's them, they're.
it? It's on their honor.
Yeah, it is on there.
It's on their honor.
Because there's no way for us to say, oh, you had 50 participants, we're gonna invoice you $500. We're not,
I understand that, but
Yeah.
I'm just, there was a certain amount per participant, right?
$10.
Yeah, at the beginning of the year,
Mhm.
you know, when they sit down and do they not, you know, say, here's what we got for participants,
Mhm.
and then an invoice is generated and they pay it whenever they get, you know, around to it.
Mhm. It's always just been,
Well, it's a
On their
quarter, of what a third of what it was in 2023.
mhm.
That's concerning.
Well, that's fine.
Are you thinking like just a season flat fee?
Just if they request a drag, we're charging $50 per drag
Okay.
per field.
And then,
Thank you so much for putting in the percentage increase or decrease column. It's
You're
helpful.
welcome.
And then could you also add it to like under the line where it's the general government from the total increase? And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
and then also under public safety and then public works and each of the ones that you have in bold.
Total line.
Yep, that'll save me from having to use my calculator here. Because the general government's 4.718% increase. But thank you.
percent increase in revenue,
Hmm.
A big increase of the municipal building.
It is on the
budgets.
bottom, Donnie, the very end, the revenue and
the bottom of what?
the last page of the,
Page 3?
no, the last
No.
page, page 10.
Page, yeah.
The total expenses and total revenue have the percentage. Mm. But I'll put it up here.
Oh, sorry, Bob. I was asking about the municipal building salary, wages and benefits. There change there?
That's the cleaning person.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I added that on to the right line. And if you remember the 2024 budget, that is a lot over because I've been putting her wages in there, but it was budgeted in just other expenses because it wasn't an employee before,
Right.
and now it is.
Now it's a separate line item.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah.
Seven point 7% and 7.09% increase in total revenues, 7.21% increase in total expenditures, but that's not gonna reflect the current changes in healthcare, right?
correct.
But I don't think that's gonna get us down to where we're equal for increased expenditures, right?
Right, it's $1,200 difference, between revenues and expenses. If you look, just below the two totals. There's a
I know we're
$1,200.
proposing 4.5% increase in wages.
Mhm.
And I thought if I heard right, when we had the last meeting, it was 4%. Cause I looked in my notes and I marked it down as 4%, and when the 4.5, or was it 4.5 all along?
It was 4.5.
And
last
I
one.
might have misheard it, you know, my hearing's not good, so.
I maybe said half under my breath.
Why are some 3% and some more?
Are you looking at the wage sheet?
Pardon? Yeah,
The wage sheet,
Yeah.
we did part-time at 3%. Full-time at 4.5.
so are we taking out the administrative assistant altogether?
I would say yes.
Huh?
I would say yes. For now.
Is that a recommendation?
Yes.
Not comfortable with 4.5% right now. Straight up, yeah. I've looked at the CPIs, I've looked at everything across the consumer price index. What did we do last year? Was it 4%?
3.
Who negotiates the police contract?
Pardon?
Who negotiates the police contract?
We do,
That's been a big gap
yeah.
the last 3 years.
I didn't negotiate
The
that.
bargaining units and the regular employees,
Okay,
so.
so you're saying you're trying to make up the gap? Is that what the proposal is, higher than that?
All inflation and the fact that our marketing units consistently get more than general
So,
salary or wage people here. Fairly, I feel it's,
So if we were to get, if you were to be equal of what they got, then you would feel right, you know, justified?
I think, made whole. I think that's speaking on behalf of everybody.
And it's not equal either. We're not, it's not an ask for equal. It's less than that.
What do you mean?
Well, the public safety, you know, they always are getting, they have, you know, larger increases over the past few years than the regular staff, yes. And we understand that it's important.
Yep.
I'm not trying to take it away from them.
Yep, and I'm not saying that either, I'm looking at CPI across the board and what was settled on before. We can't undo that, we can only look at what they're at right now, so, and where we're going from a taxpayer standpoint too. And I'm concerned that some of this money is that we're getting from the state that's not guaranteed forever. You know, that's a 2-year budget. And if we don't get that same kind of money coming in this next year, it's gonna put us in some significant deficit going into there. That's the only thing I'm worried about. That's why the money that we got, we kind of one time earmarked and spent it for certain things, knowing that it wasn't going to be there guaranteed in the years to come. And here's my question, what would, could you give me some scenarios as to 3, 3.5, and 4% as to what that would do in this budget?
you want to do just 2 of those?
Well,
'Cause it's
I'm
it's a
looking,
lot of monkey.
I'm looking at doing stuff right, you
Yeah,
know, and but
yeah.
I'm also looking at it, you know, to not take advantage of the employees. I think that they're justified by their ask, you know,
Well,
and
this year's, can you tell me what the wage increase for public safety is? Wait, I'm looking.
we're not there yet.
23%, 5.5. So
Where you seeing
In the budget,
Where are you looking at?
it's in the budget.
We haven't discussed, well, we haven't made any recommendations or anything yet for the public safety. That's still all in negotiations.
Or you're looking at 4502?
I'm looking at all of them.
Oh,
Well, we're still in contract negotiations with them.
Is this, was that a 2-year contract?
Pardon?
3 of those.
There's been no agreement on the time frame yet. They proposed a 3% or a 3-year contract and then they proposed a 2-year contract, so everything is still on the table.
So there must have been a 3-year contract with that being included in this year's budget.
These budget numbers came from the police chief. So, and sergeant. This was, I believe, when they were asking for their 3-year.
One of the reasons the numbers look so skewed is because they're working off a kind of a step increase. So for example, a probationary employee makes a lot less than an employee who's been there for 10 years, but there's steps that increase on an annual basis.
Ready?
So those are also calculated in, for example, their anniversary date might be mid-year. And, you know, not only would they get like, you know, they're going to choose a 3%, you know, approved through the board, you know, they'd also get their step increase. There's also people who are finishing their education incentive by, you know, finishing their degree. So there's different factors in there that add to their increase. Some people go from a day shift to a night shift and their shift differential. So all that stuff's calculated and it's just being reflected in that increase as well. And then John, 4502 obviously went from a salaried position, excuse me, from an hourly position to a salary position. through a promotion.
Thank you, Joe.
Yeah, 2002 for increases, because I was
Two
just,
thousand two?
it was a little over four, right? I want to say there was a 4%.
That was a long time ago.
You don't remember?
2002?
That was 2 years ago.
22 years ago.
Oh, 2022.
I think it was 3.
Huh?
3.
Been 3 all along?
Mhm. Sorry.
Seems like that's where we've been at, pretty much like.
Yeah.
Yes, I will get you comparables.
And just in a search for Wisconsin, the average wage increase for village employees in Wisconsin is expected to be 4% in 2024, based on a survey.
And I'm not necessarily unopposed to getting there. What I'm concerned about is I'd rather put the cash into the pockets of the workers that are here and doing the jobs and stuff like that. You know, if there was like a 3% increase and then there was a, you know, a $500 or $750, you know, annual bonus paid out to them. They could take that money and put it into, you know, a CD right down the road, and they'd be getting their extra 4.5% that way too. And they'd be made whole. The roll-up wouldn't be as significant on us, and it's temporary money in case we don't get it next year. That's the only thing. I would love to say, yeah, we can do this every year, but.
We're not asking for it every year.
Pardon?
They're not asking for it every year.
Right, but asking for it this year means it's gonna be there next year too. But I'd just like to see what that numbers reflect on the budget. If it's plausible, maybe it's not a big deal.
So 3.5 and 4%? Is that what you're asking for?
He said 3, 3.5, and 4.
Right. We already know what 4.5 is, right?
3 just seems kind of low. To me.
Hmm?
3 just seems low to me. That's barely above the cost of inflation, isn't it? 0.02 or something, I'd have to look again, but.
You want that for next week?
So you guys had a department head meeting by next week, you know, what we're gonna do with the dentist.
We'll have to.
I'm on vacation, but.
You can just tell me your goal.
Go do something later this week, Thursday.
Joel and Celine, are you available this week? We have a meeting with the IT people. On Thursday.
Thursday works for me.
No,
So I'm picking apart public safety next.
Yes, well, it's-
Joel,
Yep, I'm here.
so. Everything's kind of stayed flat on your expenses. You got a kickback, a little bit of increase for revenue coming back from the school, I see, but, we're all taking a step increase. Have you factored in any kind of a contractual increase into these numbers that might be in here? And is that based
Yeah.
on the ask of the union?
Correct. There's a 5% wage increase factored in currently
Oh.
in that.
So I'm gonna come back to you on this. I'd like to see a 3, 3.5, 4%.
Okay, I can do that.
I don't think it's right for us to be asking for the other ones without that same thing coming on your end and being able to look at that.
Colleen says there's servers.
Will your workers' comp go up with your salaries going up?
Andrea, I
Um,
don't think so.
the numbers in here are the renewal rates from our insurance company for work comp. The,
For police?
yeah, the price per
$1,000,
$100
yeah.
went down
Oh, workers' comp went down.
for police. Yeah, actually for the majority of the department. Ours is so low that it just stays the same. 17 cents per $100 wage.
Library workers' comp went up. But that. So minimal, it looks big.
Mhm.
A percentage, of it, it's only like
She had a more.
Something like $60.
I know it's.
I know.
What?
Well, and I
Thinking
think-
it would be,
I think it was budgeted low last year, so.
I think we went over a little bit
Yeah,
last
so I
year.
think that,
Yeah,
that makes it look like an even bigger increase
Yeah.
too. Is that where you're at? You're at the library now, Done?
Yeah, I'm all over the place based on what page I'm on, so,
Okay.
I'm just looking. I'm not the only guy on this committee, so. Or gal. Committee,
Remember,
yeah, we do it that way. We're gonna jump back to, the athletic fields. We never did get an agreement or did we get a payment at all from the school this year? For use of the ball field, because we
I believe,
didn't have that
No.
agreement in place. We said that's what they're going to take. They didn't get it approved. I wonder if we ever got a payment from the school.
that's the payment that's in the school.
That's the payment. So the association's never paid anything.
Cause they had me, they reached out and told me how many and then I sent them an invoice, right? Yeah. The school did.
It's costing $6,000 to maintain the fields, and we're getting, yeah, I think it makes sense for us to look at that one. Right. I'll pick on the library here a little bit.
Oh, I know you would.
I'm not picking on you, I'm just asking.
Asking
questions.
questions, I'm here to
So,
answer them.
yeah, so last year's 303, 362, it looks like you're at 210. Are you gonna come in at that 303 for the budget?
You know,
This is through August 31st, so
So, yeah.
that's
September.
changed
Right,
quite a bit.
that's what I was asking. Are you gonna come in at that 303?
Yeah,
I would say yes,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Did we get additional revenues then to cover that extra 10%?
the county is
Okay.
contributing more. I know we talked about it one time, but it's a pretty complicated formula with the more money you spend, which seems kind of weird, but the more expenditures you have and you divide it by the total circulation, the more the county has to contribute. So if you do like incremental increases, you'll see
Well, it went up
yeah,
7.5% on the St. Croix Library funding,
yeah.
which was only $8,000.
Mhm.
That's what I was looking to, because I think we talked last year that the library was pretty much self-funding, right, from the,
No, not self-funding. I mean,
well, I mean, from
Municipality.
the library fund and stuff like that. That's why we don't have a lot of say in that.
well, no, you have a lot of say in it. The village trustees say this is how much money that the village is going to give you. The village owns the library, so you're owners of it. And then you say, this is how much you'll get here. The county money is determined by a formula. That is a reimbursement from, so in 2025, we'll work off 2023 numbers for that. And so, and then we use that, and then this year, we'll bring in about $15,000 in grants and fundraising that we also add to that budget.
So you're really looking at only about about a 5% increase, because you're gonna be fundraising and granting.
No, I mean, I think it's more than 5% from the village. I mean, but it's, well, I guess it depends too on what the wages come at, where we have two considered full-time staff, so that would be in there. The benefits.
But I thought we couldn't touch the wages, that was all set by your board.
Well, I mean, I think we follow suit, with the village, the other employees, so. I mean, it can get very, like, oh, you can give the library any amount, and then the library board could really just redistribute and shuffle that up, but they don't. I mean, the library board is appointed by the village trustees as well, like, so. It gets complicated in Wisconsin because they think that, library trustees should not be representatives of government.
Okay.
Yeah, you have more questions? I like to talk about libraries. but-
I don't have to talk, it's all good. Keep asking your question.
No, you must have more questions for me.
It's a little difficult because all these pages they're printed, but they're printed backwards, so I gotta flip back and forth, so everybody looks like I'm shuffling papers around, and everything is, it's a little difficult to,
Yeah.
than just front page after page after page,
I
Mhm.
was trying to save planners. Like the trees.
Maybe you need
None.
expenditures for.
Exactly.
I was just thinking about that, as I'm looking at the stack of paper from the meetings.
Mhm.
Yeah, and we talked about capital improvements. Are you there yet? or-
Go ahead.
Okay, wait, let me pull it up.
And Andrea, I have another question going back to the police officer wage reimbursement. So
Yeah.
if that money's coming in from the school, why wouldn't it be a negative number instead of a 58% increase, if that's money they're
If
paying.
The budget number increased that much from 2024's.
Cause that was a part-time position.
Yeah, 2024's contribution was significantly less than 2025's contribution is going to be, so that would be an increase.
It's a-
It was a negative last year.
How much is the school, remind me again, how much the school is paying then in 2025?
For wages and benefits, $53,818.19.
So that should come in as income from the school somewhere else, right? And not as an expense from the budget, or what am I missing there?
Instead of putting in the tax levy, the full amount of that officer's wages, half of it's going to the tax levy, the other half is coming in as a revenue from the school. So if you didn't have that revenue, your tax levy would be higher to cover the cost. I have it pulled up now. Sorry, wow.
All right, well, I'm noticing that we are not putting away anything for the fire truck. It's a major expense coming up in the next couple of years, and hopefully we can allocate something towards that. You know, we had pulled it out last year and put it in public works, if I remember correctly.
In parts.
Correct.
What page you
The capital.
It's the,
Cause I was gonna mention that same thing, I noted in under the 100s, you have a fire department equipment outlay, but nothing was,
cause all the outlay goes.
so that should be scratched from.
I
this.
can take it out,
Okay.
yeah.
So that, I seen it there, I didn't know where the good part, so we'll scratch that.
Yeah.
And just put it in the outlay budget then? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Did you fix your, typo that you had with your, I didn't even look to see that. Um, Treasurers,
Oh, yes, I did.
I'm assuming that got done, but I didn't.
Yeah, instead of 24, it's 42 or whatever. I was giving myself a paper.
I got nothing else on the general budget, once I get that information.
Yep.
Thank you for the information.
Yep. Yeah.
You have any questions on that general budget? No? Mike, you have any questions on the general budget?
No, nothing further for me.
You're on to Olay.
Mhm.
Are you in capital first?
I'm sorry, I guess I did jump ahead, but we can, look at the debt budget,
I'm sorry.
the debt fund budget.
It is what it is.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, there's nothing we can really adjust here, but it's good information to have.
We had $1 million fall out last year. So I remember that.
Mhm. So 2 years ago. And then I put.
That's when
next
it
back on.
did, right?
Yeah.
So debt is.
I'm
That is
waiting for it to open.
just under 1 million.
Yep. A million didn't get dropped off, it got reallocated to,
To salt, sewer and water, right?
no, to a larger. It got refinanced into that larger borrowing, we did the $4.6 million. So it's going to be spread out longer.
Right, that's not included on this. right?
Well, it is,
Don't we have debt payment on that though?
yep, yeah.
Which one would that be?
It's the 2023 AGO bonds, well. Well, down,
278,000?
yes,
Is that interest only, right?
there's principal in there.
I don't know how you keep all those ones straight. I have trouble with my 15.
Sometimes I have
The
to,
levy dropped 3,000?
Yep.
Andrea, on the capital improvement fund budget, could you also add the,
percentages,
yes,
Yeah.
please?
I
Thank
just
you.
realized.
We lost the loader lease liability, but we're gonna be borrowing for that too, aren't we, again, is? Are we not gonna do anything with that, or are we gonna reallocate those funds to? Cause it's paid off, right, in for the plow truck?
Yep.
Is that what we're talking about? I don't remember that. Is that something we should probably put in here?
The last payments this year,
Right, but I mean, for
2026. Well, one more payment.
20, oh, we got one in 2025 too? That's
For
not
which
on here.
one?
Water,
Mhm. It's not on here. The loader liability leases,
0.
because the sweeper's paid for too, right?
Mhm.
And I thought this year was the last year. 2024 was the last year of the loader,
2020, well, there's 25,000 being allocated.
right?
Yep.
But 24 and change, right?
You sure?
What?
I don't have it on here. It's not that old
I
one.
looked it up, and it's not this- So that one more payment.
Doing,
Okay, well, like, well, all right.
Okay, I'll
Fine.
edit it.
Put that around, huh?
I'll edit it. No, I got one. You can keep talking.
You mean added it?
that's what I was wondering.
Is it, I thought you said it's not on there.
It is not on here.
What is it?
The loader.
Loader
payment.
lease liability,
It is.
24,
In the
112.
debt budget?
Oh, capital outlay.
Oh,
Well, you got it on capital outlay.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell me what this one is then with our debt. We got a loader lease liability that was 24,000 was paid out on the debt.
So it gets budgeted in capital improvements and then the money gets transferred to the debt fund to pay it.
Okay,
So it doesn't go against your operating.
so you'd have a transfer in from debt fund, right?
Mhm.
Or transfer in
Transferred
from
from capital.
capital outlay
Mhm.
to pay that then?
Yep,
So what do you?
but I don't even have it as a payment. The last time we paid on it was 2023.
Can we look at
Okay,
that?
I'll look it
Yeah.
up.
I'm just gonna note that, or look into that, because I thought what I was trying to say is, are we setting aside some money for, but you said it's in a capital outlay, right?
Mhm. Something else for next week. I think I stopped. Mhm.
There's your fire department equipment up on top. What you're looking at for the budget on capital,
Over on top.
is that what you were referencing to?
Or the bottom of each one. On the capital improvements, worksheet.
Okay. You got 5,000 for the truck,
That's what was budgeted last year. Mhm. There's
So-
nothing in there right now.
here's my question. When we put money into like the sweeper outlay or plow truck outlay, there's an ongoing amount that it's tallied every year, right?
Yeah,
Do we have like balance sheets on that?
Yep.
That maybe,
yeah, that's what I was going to work on today to provide to you, but
right,
it did not happen.
no, I was just wondering, maybe, at the beginning of this process, we could at least have that so we can kind of see what we have, so we know how to fund it properly, right? Cause I don't know what we have in the plow truck all day,
I
but
can-
we're looking at $175,000 truck. And ours isn't, we're on a wing and a prayer with that one right now.
Bob, I have a question for you for snow plowing. With the addition of the Peterson building and the inability to push all the majority of the snow from Main Street into that lot, what's the plans for that? Just using the big loader and putting it in the back of the trucks and hauling it off, or is there gonna need a snow blower to be able to blow them in the back of the trucks, or what's your plan for that?
Most of it will stockpile in the former General Sam's lot. And haul that out.
Now that there isn't.
Yep, 10-4, thank you.
So as of right now, Donnie, there's $71,000 in the plow truck holding.
And nothing in the fire truck one, right?
Fire truck has $58,827.02. This is the rolling balance.
Yep.
Is what I'm talking about.
That was after we made our payments for the tenant, right?
Yep,
You said 58,000?
Yep.
And we're allocating another 15 in that outlay, is that what?
for the fire,
Yeah, I think fire department equipment on the budget for this year, we're looking at 15,000, or is that for
that's,
a different outlay? 52210 812.
I have 0 and there's nothing in there.
I apologize, that was a sweeper outlay, okay. There was some discussion about that, wasn't there, about needs of the fire department?
Yeah, Andrea, what did you say that the township was gonna set aside next year for the
50.
fire truck?
50,000,
50,000, and right now we have 0.
right.
We should probably
You
have
said-
something more than 0.
We have 58,000 currently.
Towards a $500,000 expense, wasn't it, approximately?
Mhm.
Well, by the time we buy that, it's going to be more.
Yes,
I think a total price tag is gonna be over 1 million, so 500,000 each.
Right, is that just sitting to a fund, or is that something that is like, invested in interest accrues and compounds?
it's just sitting in the fund, in general fund, or
I get it.
general checking.
Yeah, outlay, or are you thinking about borrowing some of that, because that's only gonna get us about half.
All the way up trade.
We talked, yeah, but we also talked about borrowing, right, a little bit. Is that something you wanted to, do you feel comfortable with them numbers? With that outlay, where it's at with the trade?
Best we can do, yeah.
Okay. Cause I got a funny feeling if we get hit with snow, we're gonna probably, people are gonna, we're took it 2 years out probably before we get one too, anyway.
Yeah.
We had an expense, on the shop addition, that was all that maintenance that we did, right? Is there anything that we need to look at doing for outlay or putting any money in outlay for that? Nothing.
I'm not suggesting anything, no.
Is it time we start putting some money into outlay for a shop or an addition?
I think it would be peanuts compared to what we need.
We gotta start somewhere.
Well, on a priority scale, I don't remember $10,000 in there for 10 years, it's $100,000,
Right?
You should cover some of your expenses, so
yeah.
What do we have in that?
it's negative,
It's a negative?
yeah. So I would,
What's a negative?
it owes it back.
I know,
Oh,
what's the amount?
sorry, 11,000.
I would propose that we at least get the 11,000 in there.
Sent you the deck by that side. Before.
Just now? Okay. Is the last payment in 2025?
Is there any other negative amounts that we need to know about on the outlays?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, but, some of them are from, for instance, the street maintenance is from the, highway project, so that will be replenished.
I was gonna say them will be. That's nothing we have to budget for.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
That's just good money in to pay
Yep.
off the outlay, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
And then the parks improvements is, where I've been putting the,
What they used for a TAP grant things,
yeah,
which will get reimbursed.
we'll get reimbursed for that.
that's the 1 mil. Yeah, for 1.3, yeah, okay. So that one, we're borrowing from that fund until we reimburse it. Okay.
Reimburses, right.
Anything else?
Village Hall outlay, that was the,
Super.
no,
Air conditioning.
no, the facilities. Assessment, that came out of there,
Some thousand.
$20,000, so that
That ran.
is negative 20,000 at the beginning of the year, and then the 8897 is the, new village website, I believe. And I just printed out those.
Are we budgeting for that, or that website, or is that, I mean, because
Yeah,
that was in
It'll be
development.
part of the general.
Right, but the 8800 comes out of all later,
Mhm.
so can we true that one up?
Let me see what's in the budget. Only for 10,000.
That'll get one of them going.
Mhm.
Okay. The recommendation I have is to bring in that shop addition up to 11,000 then.
Okay, and I put that.
You got anything? You want, how much you want putting towards a fire truck?
That's an excellent question. How much can we afford?
So
That's a
if
good
we,
question.
right, if we already have 58,000, is, when is the year that we expect to buy that again? Purchase it?
29, I thought.
8 years. They were gonna start
Was
looking at
it
it.
8
They're
years?
gonna start looking at it in 29.
Devastating, yeah, 2029, replace 1998 engine, $1 million.
Well, I say we put in 50 and then see where the numbers work out. Cause if we don't, we wanna be proactive as possible and not reactive when the time comes. And put people
Yeah.
after.
You might not be able to put it all in.
I was gonna say, it'd be nice to what we can in there, so at least we got close to half of that when the time comes, 6
Mhm.
years.
Yeah, unless we have to borrow. for
That,
sure.
well, if you gotta borrow a little bit, we'll borrow a little bit, but
Right.
I think the taxpayers are gonna understand it. We need to, finish our equipment, same with plowing the roads and putting out fires, you know.
Right.
Mhm.
So you're suggesting 25,000 then?
I'll let you know next week.
Okay.
I have 50.
Between 25 and 50,000 would be nice,
I was hoping for
you know,
35 or 40.
huh?
I was hoping for 35 or 40 at least.
Between 25 and 50,000, I think, just to start setting some money aside for that. And we're doing a bunch with the parks this next year. And we're getting money set aside for that. We got enough that we could probably start at least shopping for a plow truck, right? Are you comfortable with that on your end? And then we just gotta figure out our general budget then, right?
Mhm. We maybe bump the, meeting next week to 5:30.
What time?
5:30,
I mean, what day? It's Wednesday, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I'm fine with that.
I can do 5:30 as well.
Sure. 30, 30. So we're getting closer.
Mhm.
Well, if nothing changed, if we were to just accept it as it was today,
Mhm.
if I'm reading this right, we'd be looking at a 3.8% increase in the taxes for the village, right?
Well, it'd be a little more, cause you added some for capital improvement.
No, I'm saying,
Oh.
if we never did anything,
Yeah.
if I never changed a thing on here,
Yeah,
we'd be looking at 3.8% or about 4%.
Yeah.
3.88%.
Yeah.
That's it, giving that, so that'd be, if I was, somebody was gonna come up to me on the street and say, hey, what's our taxes gonna go up this year? I said, well, I don't know what the county's gonna do, but
Mhm.
we'd be looking at a maximum, if this was approved, at 4%, 3.8, 4%, less than 4%, right?
Yeah.
And that's due to, we got an increase in state funding.
Mhm. And everybody pretty much how, I mean.
There was a
there
discussion
was a lot
too that you had
of
mentioned,
changes.
that we weren't able to get a certain kickback of 50,000, I think it was, from the state
Mhm.
in funds because our mill rate was not at 5%,
5 mils.
5 mils.
Yeah.
So at this one, what would it put it at?
Well, that was the question I had for, Ellers. And they never got back to me, so. When Bob and I met with them, was that 2 weeks ago? They
Yep.
said it would be hard to get because of levy limits. And our increase in values, it would be hard to be able to get to 5 mils. But I have that question out to them and I have not heard back. I will get that for you for next week.
Is there anything that we're putting on for street improvements for, you know, I know we increased street maintenance in the capital improvements, but, are we gonna look at just borrowing to fix these roads or is there some money in road improvements for, you know, getting certain areas that need to be addressed fixed?
You answer me.
Yeah, and capital, and outlay.
There is money set aside, in for street maintenance, but typically street projects, we just finance for them. Cause they're usually part of a bigger, not normally,
Well, I think we had, in our proposal, I think we had some things that were part of capital outlay and some of them.
Yeah, if we do a mill and overlay project, you know, that would wanna come out of capital outlay, but when we're doing a full rehab, we're
Mhm.
talking.
Curb gutter, water mains, that's all, but that's several different,
Yeah.
funds going into it, right?
Yeah.
Right.
so like, you know, like HUD, Banas and Jermaine. We were trying to get a grant for, we didn't get it, but we were estimating that to be 225. Would that be something now that we were to look at to do without utilities? Would we put that on debt then?
Like a lot of, a big portion of that is without utilities.
Right.
Yep.
It's all without utilities. Would that be debt or would that be outlay?
That one would be out there.
Do we have enough in outlay for that?
Mhm.
And the hope is to build that outlay up to pay for those.
What are we putting in there?
22,500.
Can we see about increasing that?
Sure.
What's the balance of that?
That was a negative one.
Okay.
Is it negative right
Yeah,
now?
because of the, Churchill project.
Oh,
But some of that's gonna come back to it though, won't it?
Yeah.
So it will come positive when we true up the other funds.
Yes,
We just don't know what that is yet.
right.
Okay. Okay,
Well, what do you wanna put it at?
well, I don't- it's
Okay.
kind of hard for me to say, let's put money in there when,
That's what it was, same for us. You know.
yeah.
The way.
I know you wanna put some money toward it, but I'm just looking at, we got a wish list and our 5-year plan of over 300. Just in the next 2 years, we're over $500,000. Some of it was, we were looking at as getting a grant, we're not gonna see that grant, so. I mean, we got Reed, Evergreen. And HUD and us. Then you want Main Street as an overlay.
Yep, and there'll be another round of funding.
Potentially for next year. Be nice to get that.
I gotta be creative on how to get. Or, my price. That's part because our traffic generation is so low. So maybe Donnie, if you do start going to church.
Every
6
week,
times a day.
every week,
6 times a day.
every week.
Well, forgiveness, you're asking.
We just have to have more events over there, I think, I mean,
That's what I don't score well on because it's just that. That traffic generation.
so we got 22.5 towards street maintenance.
Mhm.
Let's just kind of see where we shell out here with
Okay,
everything once we got to that point, but it'd be nice if we could get. I mean, if we did a mill overlay project and we were able to borrow even half of that on some of that and use it for outlay, at least we'd be able to get some of this stuff done for next year, yep.
Yep, that's my goal. I'm not to work that, so we're throwing.
But if we're running negative until we know what the numbers are, I really don't know. Let's see what.
Yep.
If you can give us kind of a ballpark of what's coming back from the bridge fund or.
Yep.
Is it bridge fund that we're getting that money back from or from the Churchill project?
I think it's a little both.
All right.
Okay.
I know it's a big ask, but. Library fund's doing good though.
Yeah. In outlay,
Yeah. Mhm.
or does that meet your approval?
Yeah. Most of your stuff's gonna come through growth. Right?
Well, we anticipate it will, but we also have you'll see it in the revenue in the general budget, like copier fees.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that tends to be what we buy, like new computers for, and
Sure.
that's what our outlay is. We don't have to do roads. Thankfully, somebody else does that for us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. We're putting a road right through there here, another couple.
Okay,
Yeah.
now wait and see that.
Andrea, see, I know we always wanna try to be conservative with our revenues, the building. Building
Permit.
fees.
Mhm. Well, when you increase that, you gotta increase the expense.
Okay. That's,
Did we hit that this year?
Building permit fees?
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I think we were at 60,000 and actual was right around 75, wasn't it? Or more,
102,
pardon?
102.
Yeah. We're well over budget on that.
Well, we're down for this year compared to last year.
Yes. Yes, very much so.
And I don't anticipate that trend continuing
No.
with all the developments we're having. Maybe we should increase that up and at least we can be more actual with our numbers.
Mhm.
23, we're at 119, almost 120.
Well, we did 45 houses that year. This year we were at 19. I think we had so far, about half.
Yeah, cause it was 43 last, or
Yeah.
2024.
So we're about half. So even if we bumped it up, we'd still be at 102, if you're saying that's where that, even if we stayed where at that half mark, we'd be close to that, but I know a couple of them were industrial, right, or heavy commercial.
Yeah.
We could throw that up.
Yeah.
Well, we got that coming next year too.
Yeah.
We probably should bump that up. Just because we know we got some commercial development coming in. And if we hold it at 15 to, if we hold at 20 to 25 houses, that's gonna fall right in line with that one. Dave? What are you proposing?
40?
Take it to 140?
Sorry,
No, for new houses.
Oh, I thought you meant, yeah,
Capstone will have 16 in this year yet, and then.
16 more?
All together,
Oh,
that's their plan.
and I
44,
think they've,
and then they're going into
Five
first,
sheets.
first edition already.
but we're
That was
not,
just netted through village board, so they'll start that next year.
that's this one,
what is that?
you're talking Pine Belt. If they get 15 this year, but there's nothing going on in Wines App. And the only other one I could think of would be that once that development starts rolling up on the top of the hill
The
there.
multifamily.
Yeah,
The dentist office. We have a senior housing facility looking to.
right, but what I'm saying, is single family housing developments are pretty much full up except for Pine Belt, the only one that's working right now, right?
Yeah.
River Hills,
Yeah, they have a few left,
do they?
Not a lot.
that's not those.
So we, what was that, 100,000 or even more?
Is that gonna screw things up?
No, because you're just raising them to,
Mhm.
so it's actually becoming more actual,
Yeah,
you know, to what,
The reality?
to what reality is. I mean, when you think about it, I think that makes sense. We've been undermining that and under figuring on building permits for the last 2 years.
so you want me to go to what it was 2023? Those numbers? You're saying 40, at least 40 new ones? Receptions and.
What do you think, Mike?
I think you're doing a great job leading the meeting and I like where it's going. And I too would like to see the numbers broke down or in the different percentages.
You think we should increase the building permit fees up? It's, sitting at 102 right now, and we did 120 last year with 40 homes. But we, should we take that up a little bit more? I mean, we budgeted 75 and we were actually at 102. We take it to 100,000?
Will the impact fee increase be reflective of that as well?
The impact fees aren't on this budget. The impact fees are a separate standalone deal, but what the cost would have to be increased accordingly too. So if we went up if we went up 25,000 in our revenues, we should go at least 25,000 in our expenses, right? In order to, it becomes actual than, actual numbers, and that's at half of where we're at right now, and Bob thinks that we were gonna do a little better than that, probably more closer to the 120, 120, but I think if we get to 100, at least we're getting closer.
I agree.
Yep. Anything else you got, Mike?
Nope.
Are we not anticipating sign permit fees?
I'm waiting on that.
Okay.
Sign permit fee. That's another one that's done by the building inspector, so I don't believe,
We keeping that
I think
separate?
it's in part of the. It goes to the building inspector. And plan commission fees, I need to talk to Tasia about, because we budgeted 1,500 and we've only collected 300.
You gonna do the same for dog licensing fees from the, for, 2025, it's 2024?
Yeah,
Like, $300.
well, that's true. But you guys haven't had additional use permits, you haven't had rezones this year. So we budgeted for 10. And collected,
We've had a grand total of 4 direct seller permits for 2024.
yep. No, that would be $20.
Are they $20? I thought they were 10 apiece,
No, they're 20.
so only 2. We got a bunch of stuff to look at. There's no other questions or anything like that. We'll get the information back. Andrea, you got a list of stuff to bring to us for next week's meeting?
Yep.
We need a motion to move that meeting to 5:30 or
No.
are we okay with it? Just, if we're all in agreement,
The
there's nothing else to be brought forward to this committee meeting. Do you have anything else, Chris?
No,
Like to make a motion to adjourn?
a second.
Motion made and seconded to adjourn. All in favor, signify by saying aye.
Hi.
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Motion carried. Thanks a lot for your time, everyone. I appreciate it. And we'll look forward to